What is up, YouTube? How y'all doing, man? Hey, before we get started, check this out, man. We y'all know we rocking like 4 or 5 channels now. We rock 3 channels on this YouTube stream. Check our links below, man. We got a main channel. We great hit 500,000 subscribers. Thank y'all so much for supporting. And hit that subscribe button, hit that bell on this channel. And Police Beatdown, real quick, man. If y'all into these crazy stories and stuff on Police Beatdown, 282. Let's see where we at. It's been moving. It's moving slow. It's a new channel. 287. 287, y'all. It's you know, Police Beatdown. It's a faceless channel, but it's Uncle Mike's voice. It's my voice, right? Here we go. I wanted to check. I'm into this, man, because it's amazing to me how people like to play the race card. So, one guy was saying, I haven't heard it. There's a black man with a body found in his car and he don't go to jail. What? Then it's let it be a white person. He wouldn't have went to jail. If they wouldn't have had nothing on him, right, and he would have went to jail, then they would have been like, well, if it was a white person, they would have had all, or if it let it be a white girl in the car, shoot. All this stuff I be hearing. I don't know why you want to put race in everything. And I'm going to give you a little secret. Hello? If you take race out and love everybody equally, I swear you'll have a happier life and you'll probably blossom and bloom more. I don't want to say you'll make more income because I don't know what the heck you're doing. But your soul, your body, your insides will feel better, man. It ain't got nothing to do about, if everybody just stop, then we'll be all good. But it takes you to start. So I started. I'm colorblind. I always say I'm colorblind. Y'all hit that subscribe button, hit that bell. Let's check this out. This is crazy right here, man.
New footage has just circulated of possibly David and Celeste Rivas Hernandez, the girl whose body was found in his car. If true, what does this tell us? Welcome to Sidebar, presented by Law and Crime. I'm Jesse Weber. Hey, so before we get started, this is another law and crime legal alert. There are allegations right now claiming that online apps like DraftKings, ESPN Bet, BetMGM, Bet365, Fanatics Sports, Rivas Hernandez case that we want to talk about. Lawsuits.com/sidebar to take a short quiz and check your eligibility to file a claim. We have another layer to this David Celeste Rivas Hernandez case that we want to talk about. Apparently, potentially video of them together. Now, why does this matter? Well, considering the body of 14-year-old Celeste was found in the trunk of a Tesla registered to singer David Anthony Burke, back in September, and understanding the relationship, that becomes key. Now, there's been online speculation about the two of them. TMZ has reported that those in the romantic homicide singer's inner circle believed she was 19 years old, that they were hanging out. He's 20, by the way. The New York Post reporting that in a 2023 song, David raps, "Oh, Celeste, the girl with my name tattooed on her chest, smell her on my clothes like cigarettes." And speaking of tattoos, it was reported that Celeste and David each have these matching tattoos on their fingers. That actually seems to be how her decomposed remains were ID'd. Now, there were reports that she is a runaway, speculation that she was trying to see David. And despite all of this, there is no established connection or association or relationship that has been confirmed by authorities investigating Celeste's death. In fact, there is no confirmed suspect or person of interest, even a cause of death for Celeste. But what has just come out? What are we talking about? This 30-second clip from what seems to be a Twitch live stream. And now we don't know for sure when it was recorded, but it was apparently posted on social media back in September, and it is really making waves right now.
He trained you.
No, you didn't.
That's controversial.
It's controversial of raping kids.
Wow, this is scary right here, y'all, because we known about this at least 30 days ago. And Sidebar just getting to it, and the way they talking about it, like this is surface. And the police don't know about this? What the heck is going on? Who needs it? Well, the younger generation, they don't know who to turn this stuff into. And they stuff is so, us adults don't even want to look at their stuff because it's so crappy, I guess. Or so different. I ain't gonna say crappy. It ain't crappy. Not all of it. But This is crazy right here.
No, you didn't.
That's controversial.
It's controversial of raping kids. No, I need to.
See what I'm saying? And they're
Really good.
Okay,
It's
bye.
been a good one. Bye.
Bye, guys.
Mwah, 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 mwah. Oh my! Delete everything. Delete everything. Everything goes.
Now, something I have to say on top of the fact that David, has not been arrested, criminally charged, or officially implicated in any crime or wrongdoing connection with Celeste's death. Her death certificate confirms she was not pregnant at the time of her death, nor in the year leading up to her death. And while law enforcement hasn't even officially confirmed that Celeste was killed, in other words, was there a crime beyond someone putting her body into that car? If she was killed, if she was murdered, why? Now, before we dive any further into how this live stream may affect the investigation, I just want to play you something real quick. We interviewed in our previous episode of Sidebar Steve Fisher, the private investigator who was hired by the landlord of the property that David was apparently staying at in Los Angeles. If you recall, authorities searched that property. David moved his stuff out. The Tesla with Celeste's body was near that place too. Listen to what Fisher had to say as we try to understand the potential connection between David and Celeste.
We now have a much better understanding of when that Tesla arrived at that final parking spot.
Same thing.
I'll tell you, I do have surveillance from different houses in the neighborhood showing Tesla being moved.
Do you know who was driving that car, that Tesla? You don't have to tell me, but do you know the identity?
Yeah, as far as it going to the final, that what we believe is the final parking spot where it was towed from, yes.
Do you know if Celeste was ever at that property?
You know, what we recovered, we don't have any of her at that property. We have pictures of her and that were taken by David, we assume, because it's not on a camera phone, but these photos are on a regular camera at different locations. And it really makes me think that it's likely she had another place she was staying. I can tell you that there was a lot of time spent towards downtown LA. But I will say this: there are some things that, and I'm talking physical evidence that was at that house that is. There could have been greater plans as far as getting rid of her, and it's scary, sadistic stuff. And that's why we're trying to learn more about that because, and I wish I could say more, but for obvious reasons I can't. But it doesn't have to do with her, how she died, but maybe how they were planning on ultimately getting rid of her, and how maybe that Tesla was just a holding spot at the time, and things just, their timing was just off as far as getting this done. But there's a few things that were just like will blow your mind.
Okay, so now let me bring in Dave Sarney, retired NYPD detective, adjunct professor at John Jay College of Criminal Justice. Dave, thanks so much for coming back here. What do you make of this new footage?
Well, thank you for having me. Well, this is another, we always talk about cases having legs. This has a lot of legs, but they're not going anywhere. They're going different directions. And when you see this video and you're hearing about this the first time and the way he actually reacts to this, is there something to what Celeste said on that video? So this is going to maybe now continue another investigation dealing with him, dealing with children. And it has been speculated, it's been this way for a while, that most of the fans that know David and all through the internet, that he met her at the age of 12 and somehow he groomed her. This is all speculation, of course, but we're seeing, is this a pattern of David's to deal with children, to deal with kids in general? We don't know if it's female kids, male kids, we don't really know. But that comes out, and the reaction of him, that's where you feel that there's a possibility that might be happening. So now we have to look at it that way.
Let me just confirm what you're saying. A, do you believe police are looking at this video, or have they looked at it and tried to analyze it? And B,
there's no
way. Are you suggesting, even though, let's be clear, there's speculation, he hasn't officially been charged or implicated in any crime, when we look at why hasn't there been a person of interest or suspect or arrest, that potentially there could be something bigger that law enforcement is looking into?
I think you have to look at every avenue in this investigation, because this is what happens. You're hoping the detectives and investigators are looking, this is another part of the puzzle. It may be part of this particular puzzle about why Celeste's body was in that car and who put her there. But it's something else to look at because you have no criminal charges right now based on all you may have is tampered physical evidence and disposal of human body. Now we're looking, they're waiting for toxicology to come back. Right now, this case is considered a cuppy. In New York, we'd call it a cuppy. Circumstances unknown, pending police investigation. The ME's office in California call it unspecified or undetermined. So we're looking at that. This is another avenue to look at. And I'm hoping that law enforcement is looking at this and looking at David on that other end. If this comes out, and this is what Celeste said on video and his reaction, and this is what comes down to, it wasn't he delete everything. So this is something to look at parallel to the investigation of Celeste's death.
Here's the thing. Okay, for argument's sake, and again, this is all an allegation, this is all speculation. If we're looking at this and saying, okay, this relationship was a factor in what happened to her, it's public. It's on a live stream. People are talking about it. If he really did bring her around and people knew about it, what would be the goal in getting rid of her or covering it up? Again, I'm not saying he had anything to do with it or anybody he's connected with had anything to do with it. But if you're looking at this and people are making that association, trying to cover something up, it doesn't make sense.
It seems not to, and we don't know what happened to Celeste, and that's what it comes down to. What happened? Where did she die? And when did she get placed in the car? We have an idea, but we're still waiting to get all this information on that end. And maybe this parallel investigation will lead you to something else. Because I will tell you, this is a big case when it comes to kids. Kids are actually, his fans and the fan base he has, and a lot of people might be anti-David, whatever it's going to be. They're talking back and forth. And I presume, and I think it would be a good idea that law enforcement is looking at that chatter when David comes up in either Reddit or Discord along those lines, because that might be a lead to what happened and why Celeste is dead. So you get to the why, and now you have to get to the who and when part of it also.
How difficult is it to piece together all of that digital evidence, particularly on public live streaming platforms?
It's massive. It's a massive undertaking, and that's why I think the best thing that they've been doing, law enforcement has been doing, is keeping this very quiet and very close to the chest. You don't want things leaking out, because once you leak that out, then you lose that investigation. You might lose pieces of the puzzle that people don't realize we're looking at and might just be out there. So I appreciate what law enforcement's doing, and I think it's great what they're doing in involving keeping this case at a really tight level of security on that end. But they're working behind the scenes, and you know what? I don't want them to tell people what they're doing, because once you do that, that could sully the investigation going forth.
I thought it was interesting, if you take it at face value, when he says, I media trained you. Some might look at that, investigators might look at that and say, oh, that establishes not only a connection, it establishes a period of time by which he knew her. Right? If you're wondering when he met her, how long they knew each other for, again, taking that statement at face value, could be like, I media trained you 5 minutes ago. I don't know.
That's her, man. And what's throwing the police off is it's two Celestines, or Celeste, or whatever her name is. Rest in peace. No disrespect. But that looked like that little girl that was in that trunk. That don't look like the other one. And all you got to do is bring the other one in and say, is this you in that picture? And come on, man, I can do better than this.
No, but looking even them together, there seems to be, and assuming it's her, a level of comfortability. I wonder if it does help investigators piece together a timeline.
It does. And I will say this is all the speculation we've had. And this is looking from the chatter from Discord, that they've been in a relationship, or at least has been cultivating this relationship, grooming this relationship to the age of 12. That's what the presumption is. So this just adds fuel to that fire, that he looks at that. Again, this is all speculation. There's nothing concrete, but there's a lot of social media trail. And that's why it's taking so long to get to that social media trail, because there is a lot of chatter. And within that, it's kind of like leads to an investigation. You have to weed out those things and find out what's a valid source of information, a valid lead in the investigation. Like I said, everyone who's talked about David, who's known him as an artist, have said a lot of things. He's put her likeness in his videos. He's spoken about her in his songs, and even kind of simulated some sort of demise of this girl through his last video prior to all this falling apart on, I guess, his career and his relationship. We have no concrete facts. And when the concrete facts come into play, that's when you're going to see law enforcement move to further this investigation to possibly make an arrest somewhere along the line, either based on the disposal of Celeste's body or to something else that might lead to the death of Celeste.
Just to put a button on this connection, do you believe, in your professional opinion, based on when investigators started looking into all of this and looking into her death, do you think at this point in time, at this recording, law enforcement, they have a really good idea as to what the connection was between David and Celeste? Do you think that and they might not be revealing it, but do you think they pretty much know what they need to know about that connection?
Yeah, I would think they do. And that's why social media is this is one of those cases that social media is a very big part of, because apparently there was photos of them together. There's things out there in the atmosphere, in the sense in the cloud. They call it the cloud, but it's somewhere along the line within social media that you're going to see a connection. And then you look at the metadata and seeing the time and place in which those photos were taken or videos were taken, and it will lead to something. What it will lead to, that's what's going to happen. We have to decide if they're going to prosecute this case to that level. Will they have enough to prosecute? Will the district attorney's office believe that the evidence collected by law enforcement is enough to deem for an arrest? And right now, all you can get is maybe the person or persons who were in the car at the time, or around the time the body was in there. But no one has no video right now or any footage or eyewitnesses to find somebody who put that body in that car. And not only that, now you have to go backwards, and we always call pre-incident. We have a body in the car. What's the pre-incident? When she got put in the car and when she died. And we haven't been able to determine that right now. We know her body was barely decomposed in the car, but we don't have a time of death and anything that could separate between the time that she was last seen alive to the last time she was found in that car, her body at least.
I don't know if you had an opportunity to see our interview with Steve Fisher, but I played a few clips of it before. He says that they have video of the person dropping that Tesla off. Obviously, he couldn't reveal the identity because it's in the middle of an investigation, but law enforcement apparently has that information. What did you make of that?
Well, that's something that's important. It's valid. It's a very important thing. But here it comes down to is the person in the car responsible for putting the body in the car? And that's where you have to tie it in. Can somebody say and deny the fact that they didn't do anything in the car? I know there was an air freshener in the car. Does that make that someone has knowledge there's a body in the car? I mean, the reality is, it seems to be, and again, speculation is they didn't know what to do with this body, so they dumped in the most available place that they could have transported that vehicle out of the scene and put the body somewhere else. But right now, that car sat there for weeks, so we don't know why it sat there for weeks as it is. And Stephen, I know he's working this, he's been dealing with this case, and he's very informed about it, and he's smart by not telling everybody the whole thing, because you can't. This is an active investigation. This is an active investigate DOA situation. It's not a murder yet. It's not a homicide. We have no idea. There's no idea of the manner of death at this point. So what you're trying to do is if you get the arrest, if there's an arrest made on the disposal of the body, that might lead to what happened when she died, or who involved herself when she died. Is it an accidental death? These things are going to come into play. It's going to take some time.
What did you make of when he said that there might be evidence in that house, calling it the sadistic plan or plot to get rid of her body, right? That there might be evidence in there of that. That was a significant moment as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And then I guarantee you they've been searched once on that location, and they probably held that, getting trace evidence, because by the time they find the body, he's out of the house already. And these are not, again, we're talking about non-professional individuals. Is there a chance that there's some trace evidence in that house to show that she is part and parcel in that house prior to her death? I read something about he was making T-shirts for his tour. He was self-making these. It wasn't sent to a company to make, that he was utilizing red. And now there's a speculation again, is Celeste's blood in that? It is taking so many twists and turns. And I think when you have an artist that is very well spoken, who is an up and coming artist, who has has a lot of skeletons in his closet, a lot of dark secrets. And it's going to take some time for law enforcement to open up that closet, that plethora of skeletons in that closet.
Dave, in your experience, as we wrap things up here, what are you going to be looking out for next? What do you predict is going to happen in the next few weeks?
Well, I'm hoping that they follow up on just, even though it's an allegation of child abuse, because that's something you could look toward, because he might have covered up his tracks on the Celeste issue. But anyone else outside that, is there any other communications outside that were communicating to David where she would even have to say that he was raping kids? And now with the second part is doing the body toxicology. I don't know what's going to come back on that. You're still working on the car. You're going to work on the house. You're going to work on any social media that he's had. And so far, they've had cooperation with his attorney. I don't know when that's going to discontinue, but you just want the truth. That's all it comes down to. Detectives and investigators looking for the truth. We don't look to arrest somebody just because we want to. We want to arrest the person that has committed the crime. And the truth is the way to do it. And it's through the totality of circumstances as the facts come out.
Dave Sarney, thank you so much for taking the time. As always, really appreciate it.
Thank you very much, and stay safe.
And that's all we have for you right now here on Sidebar, everybody.
Man, I cannot believe that. with the technology, the DNA, and all the stuff that they have today, maybe she wasn't in that house. Maybe he was that slick to do everything out of a different house that's in somebody else's name. That's one of her friends, somebody else's. I don't know, man. I'm trying to figure out why the police is having such a hard time with this whole situation. Y'all let me know, man. I can't wait till they do something, man. The girl needs at least her family needs some closure. The little brother. Even the little brother got more info than the police. Oh, you know what? Maybe she ain't all that important. That's why they got other things to do. I don't know. Everybody's important on this earth, man. Y'all take it light, take it slow. Tell them Uncle Mike told you so. Peace out.